Welcome to Star Bios, the podcast where we delve into the fascinating lives of Hollywood's most iconic stars. I'm your host, Casey Gold, and today we're shining the spotlight on the incomparable James Cagney, a man whose on-screen presence was as electrifying as his off-screen personality was intriguing. With a career spanning over 5 decades, Cagney left an indelible mark on the entertainment industry, and it's my pleasure to take you on a journey through his remarkable life. Born on July 17, 1899, in Manhattan's Lower East Side, James Francis Cagney Jr. entered the world amidst the vibrant chaos of New York City's most populous borough. The sounds of horse-drawn carriages, the smells of freshly baked bread wafting from the nearby bakeries, and the sight of immigrants from all corners of the globe rushing to and fro, all blended together to create a kaleidoscope of sensations that would shape young Jimmy's perspective on life. His father, James Sr., was an Irish-American bartender with a quick wit and a silver tongue who regaled his customers with tales of the old country at the local watering hole, McGirt's Tavern. His mother, Carolyn Nelson, was a Norwegian-American seamstress with a kind heart and a skilled pair of hands, who worked tirelessly to make ends meet, stitching together dresses and suits for the neighborhood families. The family lived in a small apartment on East 72nd Street, surrounded by the sights, sounds, and smells of a bustling immigrant community. The Cagneys' home was a cozy, if cramped, space filled with the smell of cooking oil, freshly baked bread, and the sound of lively chatter. Young Jimmy shared a bedroom with his younger brother, William, and the two would often stay up late into the night, listening to their father's tales of adventure and bravery. The family's economic situation was precarious, and James Sr.'s modest income meant that they had to be mindful of every penny. Despite the financial constraints, Carolyn encouraged her children's creative pursuits, recognizing the importance of self-expression in their lives. She would often take Jimmy and his brother on walks through Central Park, pointing out the beauty of nature and encouraging them to observe the world around them. Growing up in this melting pot environment had a profound impact on young Jimmy Cagney. He was exposed to a diverse array of cultures, languages, and customs, which would later influence his eclectic approach to acting. The Cagneys were a working-class family, and their apartment was often filled with the sounds of lively debate and discussion. Jimmy's father, James Sr., was a passionate advocate for social justice, and his mother, Carolyn, was a fierce protector of her family. These early experiences would shape Jimmy's views on politics and social justice, informing his perspective as an artist and a citizen. As a child, Jimmy was a scrappy, energetic kid who loved to explore the city streets, playing pranks on his friends and family members alike. He attended Stuyvesant High School, where he developed a passion for drama and began performing in school plays. Cagney's early interests were not limited to acting. However, he was also an avid boxer and gymnast, disciplines that would later serve him well in his physical performances on screen. Jimmy's athletic pursuits were encouraged by his father, who saw the value in developing a strong body and a quick mind. The early 20th century was a time of great social change in America, with the rise of urbanization, immigration, and technological advancements transforming the fabric of society. For Jimmy Cagney, growing up in this era meant being part of a generation that was both fascinated and intimidated by the rapid pace of progress. As he navigated his adolescence, he was drawn to the world of vaudeville and theater, where he could express himself freely and tap into his creative potential. The bright lights, the roar of the crowd, and the thrill of performance all captivated Jimmy, and he knew from a young age that he wanted to make a career out of entertaining others. Cagney's formative years were also marked by significant historical events, including World War I and the subsequent Red Scare, which had a profound impact on American society. The fear of communism and anarchism was palpable, and the Cagney family, like many others, felt the effects of this climate of suspicion and paranoia. Jimmy's father, James Sr., was a vocal critic of the war effort, and his anti-war views often put him at odds with their neighbors and friends. These early experiences would later inform Jimmy's views on politics and social justice, shaping his perspective as an artist and a citizen. As Jimmy entered his late teens, he began to explore the world of entertainment in earnest, taking on small roles in local theater productions and vaudeville shows. It was during this period that he met his future wife, Frances Franny Vernon, a woman who would become his rock and confidant throughout his life. Franny was a talented dancer and actress in her own right, with a quick wit and a sharp tongue. The two met at a vaudeville show, where Jimmy was performing in a sketch comedy routine. Franny was immediately drawn to Jimmy's charisma and energy, and the two began a courtship that would last a lifetime. With Franny by his side, Jimmy felt emboldened to pursue his dreams, and it wasn't long before he landed his first major break in the entertainment industry. The couple would often take long walks through the city, discussing their aspirations and ambitions, and Jimmy would regale Franny with tales of his adventures on stage. As they strolled hand in hand, Jimmy would point out the sights and sounds of the city, from the street vendors selling roasted chestnuts to the sound of jazz music drifting from the nightclubs. The diverse cultural influences, the encouragement of his parents, and the thrill of performance all combined to create a young man with a passion for entertaining others. As the 1920s dawned, Jimmy Cagney's star began to rise in the world of vaudeville and theater. He and his partner Franny formed a successful dance team, performing in various shows and revues across the United States. Their big break came in 1925 when they landed a spot in the prestigious Ziegfeld Follies, a renowned vaudeville show that showcased the talents of some of the biggest stars of the time. Jimmy's energetic and charismatic performances quickly made him a favorite among audiences, and he soon found himself in demand as a solo act. The thrill of performing on the grand stages of New York City was exhilarating for Jimmy, who reveled in the applause and admiration of the crowd. He would often recall the rush of adrenaline he felt as he stepped into the spotlight, his feet tapping out the rhythm on the polished wooden floorboards. The smell of grease paint and sweat, the sound of laughter and music, and the feel of the cool breeze from the stage fans all combined to create an intoxicating atmosphere that drew Jimmy in and refused to let him go. In 1929, Cagney made his Broadway debut in the play Maggie the Magnificent, which ran for 47 performances at the Court Theater. Although the play itself was not a huge success, Jimmy's performance caught the attention of critics and producers, paving the way for future opportunities. One notable example of his talent during this period was his portrayal of the lead character in the 1930 play, Penny Arcade, which earned him critical acclaim and recognition within the industry. The early 1930s saw Cagney's transition to film, with his first major role coming in 1931's The Public Enemy, directed by William Wellman. This iconic gangster movie catapulted Jimmy to stardom, cementing his status as a leading man in Hollywood. His portrayal of Tom Powers, a ruthless and charismatic bootlegger, showcased his incredible range and talent for playing complex characters. As Cagney himself once said, "I played a lot of rough guys, but I never thought of myself as a tough guy," highlighting the nuance he brought to his roles. The experience of working on The Public Enemy was a defining moment in Jimmy's career, one that taught him the value of intense preparation and dedication to his craft. He spent hours researching the character, poring over books and articles about the Prohibition era, and rehearsing his lines until he could deliver them with conviction. The result was a performance that was both raw and nuanced, capturing the essence of Tom Powers with uncanny accuracy. Throughout the 1930s, Cagney appeared in a string of successful films, including The Mayor of Hell, 1933, Footlight Parade, 1933, and Here Comes the Navy, 1934. His on-screen chemistry with co-stars like Joan Blondell and Pat O'Brien became legendary, and his collaborations with directors such as Lloyd Bacon and Michael Curtis resulted in some of the most iconic movies of the decade. One notable example of his work during this period was his performance in the 1935 film A Midsummer Night's Dream, where he played the role of Bottom alongside a talented ensemble cast. The experience of working on A Midsummer Night's Dream was a highlight of Jimmy's career, one that allowed him to showcase his range and versatility as an actor. He threw himself into the role of Bottom, immersing himself in the world of Shakespearean comedy and reveling in the absurdity and wit of the character. The result was a performance that was both hilarious and poignant, capturing the essence of Bottom with remarkable accuracy. Cagney's relationship with Warner Brothers Studio was particularly significant, as it provided him with a platform to showcase his talents and take on a wide range of roles. He became known for his intense preparation and dedication to his craft, often immersing himself in research and rehearsal to bring authenticity to his performances. As he worked tirelessly to hone his skills, Jimmy also began to take an interest in the behind-the-scenes aspects of filmmaking, frequently consulting with directors and writers on script development and production. The late 1930s saw Cagney's career continue to soar, with standout performances in films like Angels with Dirty Faces, 1938, and The Roaring Twenties, 1939. His portrayal of Rocky Sullivan in Angels with Dirty Faces earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor, solidifying his status as one of Hollywood's leading men. As the decade drew to a close, Jimmy Cagney had established himself as a versatile and talented actor, capable of tackling a wide range of roles and genres with ease and conviction. As the 1940s dawned, Cagney found himself at the forefront of American cinema, poised to take on some of the most iconic roles of his career. With his unique blend of charisma, talent, and dedication, he was ready to tackle the challenges of a new decade, leaving an indelible mark on the world of entertainment. In the years that followed, Jimmy would go on to star in some of the most iconic films of the 1940s, including The Strawberry Blonde, 1941, Yankee Doodle Dandy, 1942, and White Heat, 1949. He would work with some of the greatest directors of the era, including Michael Curtiz, Raoul Walsh, and Fritz Lang, and he would continue to push himself as an actor, taking on roles that challenged him and allowed him to grow as a performer. One of the most significant collaborations of this period was with director Nicholas Ray, who would go on to become a close friend and mentor. Their partnership resulted in some truly unforgettable films, including Run for Cover, 1955, which showcased Cagney's remarkable ability to convey vulnerability and intensity. Another notable collaboration was with John Ford, the legendary director behind classics like The Searchers and The Grapes of Wrath. Ford's direction brought out the best in Cagney, as evidenced by their work together on What Price Glory, a film that earned widespread critical acclaim. This film marked a turning point in Cagney's career, as he began to take on more nuanced and complex roles that allowed him to explore the depths of human emotion. As the years went by, Cagney became increasingly drawn to characters with a deeper sense of introspection and emotional depth. This film was a labor of love for Cagney, who had always been fascinated by the art of silent filmmaking and the pioneers who had paved the way for future generations. This period also saw Cagney become increasingly involved in the production side of filmmaking, as he founded his own company, Cagney Productions. This venture allowed him to take on more creative control, producing several films and television shows that showcased his unique vision and perspective. One notable example was the TV series, The Cagney Show, which featured a mix of drama, comedy, and music, and gave Cagney the opportunity to showcase his incredible range as a performer. As the 1960s dawned, Cagney began to slow down somewhat, but he still managed to deliver standout performances in films like 1, 2, 3, 1961, a hilarious comedy that showcased his impeccable timing and wit. Another notable film from this period was Ragtime, 1981, a sprawling epic that explored the complexities of American history and culture. Cagney's performance as Commissioner Waldo, a gruff but lovable authority figure, added depth and nuance to the film and served as a reminder of his enduring talent. Throughout his later years, Cagney was recognized with numerous awards and accolades for his contributions to the film industry. 10 years later, in 1984, he was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor in the United States, for his contributions to the arts. Despite struggling with health issues in his final years, Cagney remained active and engaged until the end of his life, passing away on March 30, 1986, at the age of 86. His legacy continues to inspire generations of actors, directors, and filmmakers who look to him as a model of dedication, perseverance, and creative excellence. Today, James Cagney is remembered as one of the greatest actors of Hollywood's golden age, a true legend who left an indelible mark on the world of cinema. His films continued to entertain and inspire audiences around the world, with classics like The Public Enemy, White Heat, and Yankee Doodle Dandy remaining as vibrant and compelling as ever. From his humble beginnings as a young dancer on Broadway to his rise as one of Hollywood's most beloved stars, Cagney's journey serves as a powerful inspiration to anyone who has ever dreamed of making it big. That's all for today's Star Bios. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'm Casey Gold reminding you to keep shooting for the stars.